Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's February 7th, 2019. I'm in the den today, taking a break from working in the shop. And one of the things, this is a different type of video than I usually post. As a homesteader and being frugal, although we spend a lot of money on building materials and supplies and tools and all, one of the things I try to do to cut costs is do our own repairs on equipment. And equipment, the older the equipment you have, the more often that you have to do maintenance and repairs on equipment. From all the vehicles, the tractors, the equipment, the small farm equipment, to the hand tools, the small power tools, to the refrigerators, the freezers, and dryers and washing machines. So the other day, a couple of weeks ago rather, Thea noticed there were some burning type smells. Hank, please. Some burning type smells when she was doing a load of laundry, and we could hear the vibrations starting to kick up. Now, our washer and dryer are going every day because we have lots of animals, and there's lots of heavy blankets and rug-like materials that the cats have for bedding, and we have big quilts for couch covers and that sort of thing for Hank to lay on, the dog to lay on the couch, because the couch is his. So we have these heavy wet materials that end up going in the washing machine that can put a stress on the balancing mechanisms in the washing machine. So it's not surprising that, and I think it's about 12 years old, our LG front load washer, pulled that, I ordered some parts realizing that most likely it's the bearings, and I thought I'd replace the seals and one of the front rubber seals. Let me grab that. So there are So there's the tub seal that you usually see in the very beginning of the tub. We could see some of this was starting to fray, and when it starts to fray, materials get behind it, the lint, the animal hairs, the dirt and debris, they can work their way down inside of the machine as well, and create some rust inside of the machine. So one of the things, whenever I have a problem like this, I really want to address it right away. So this past weekend, we hauled it out and did some cleaning around where the washing machine goes and the dryer and all, and pulled it out here into the den, disassembled it, and could see, geez, it's much more than the bearings. The bearings actually weren't too bad. The bearings in the tub, I got those out without any problem. However, one of the first things that I did notice is I think they call this the spider arm assembly, with the shaft that goes through the bearings that goes into the stainless steel inner tub. That's cast aluminum and was really shattered into multiple pieces, at least 3 large pieces and several small pieces. So with that being cocked a little bit because it didn't have all 3 places to anchor down, it acted like the bearings being bad, and therefore instead of spinning in an absolute nice spherical pattern, it would oscillate and go out of round. And as a result, another part that went bad, which was really hard to get, was the balancing ring that goes in the front of the stainless steel tub that you see when you open up your washer. That was tough to get. The spider arm assembly that was available, but this balancing ring, which appears to have a lubricant like an oil in it that has bearings in it. Well, those bearings in this unit here just spin back and forth, so there was a perforation from it spinning out of round and creating some of the oil or the lubricant that holds the bearings in place and makes them move slowly to maintain balance. Well, that must have leaked out at some point along the time. I did get seals, so before I had taken this apart, I knew I'd get the bearings, the seals, the front tub seal as well. I had all those pieces of equipment, and I probably would have had it back together the same day. But once discovering these other parts that needed to be replaced, we stopped everything. I took all the extra panels and the electronics, put it out in the truck in the garage, so that I didn't have to worry about them getting damaged during the rest of the time, and waited for the parts to come in. So last night we got the final part in, and today that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and reassemble the washing machine. These skills that we can easily develop nowadays don't require a lot of tools. It requires some patience. So for replacing the bearings, I think a small board, a hammer, a Phillips screwdriver. What else did I need for that? 2 different sockets and a ratchet, and just two box end wrenches. So that's really all it took as far as tools to disassemble the system. Now I used several different flashlights so I could see what I was doing. And I got it all disassembled without any problems. A good place to go to is AppliancePartsPros.com, and I'll put a link in the description below to their website. So you can just put the model number of whatever appliance that you have into their search, and it'll bring up videos and common parts that typically need to be replaced. So I've done this with freezers, refrigerators. I redid the bearings in the dryer. There was some other part I had to replace in there as well. I can't remember. That was the year before last. But every year I have a freezer that I've got to repair, whether it's the electronics or the thermostat. Sometimes it's pretty simple, but a lot of these appliances really aren't designed all that well to last forever. So it's one of the ways of cutting costs over time. And most of these repairs don't require a high level of skill. It requires some patience because you're taking these things apart. The tub assembly with the motor on it, that's kind of heavy, but one person can do it. So what I'm going to do is put some time lapse on and show you the process of seeing if I can put this unit back together. So here we go. Well, I'm back. It's actually the next day. I did run into a couple of issues, and I had to go pick up some lumber and electrical supplies for work in the workshop before the store closed at the end of the day yesterday. And I was actually at an impasse. I had some difficulties putting that gray rubber boot, that's this material right here, getting that on, and I waited until Thea came home for her to give me a hand getting it on, and then I discovered why I wasn't getting it on. I had to remove the spring retaining ring when I was putting it on, and make sure that the gray plastic material was actually seated correctly on both the white outer washer drum as well as the front door panel. In both places I had a bit of a challenge. The only other challenges that I really had was getting my big hands inside of small spaces to attach and remove some of the hoses that go on the outer drum. The rest of the things went very well. It ended up costing me probably $200 or just over $200 because I had to expedite shipping on one of the parts, which was the balancing wheel that goes on the front of the stainless steel drum. And that I ended up getting through SearsParts.com, and it was worth it because when I compared the two parts, it was obvious that the new part was needed. I ran a load through the machine, and I used what I placed in the machine was some of the animal blankets, including Hank's big quilt that goes on the couch. And that gets filthy, and it's the old-fashioned heavy quilts, and so that's one of the materials that can really get out of balance in the washing machine, or I've noticed it jump around in the past. Well, this machine really ran almost whisper quiet. I haven't heard it be this quiet or noticed it being this quiet since, years ago. So that brings up the point of, had I gone ahead and a year ago, when it started making some noise, or 2 years ago, gone in, replaced the seals, maybe had purchased the bearings, but replaced the part that actually ended up breaking was that spider assembly that attaches to the back of the stainless steel drum, and that, although it's not excessively expensive, the two things were the balance ring and that spider cast aluminum spider assembly that were the most expensive parts, and they may not have needed to be replaced had I repaired the appliance before it had gotten so bad. So do I think this is an easy enough repair for someone who's a do-it-yourselfer, homesteader, someone who feels that if they watch a YouTube video that they could be successful? Yes, I'd say this is, as far as difficulty goes, it isn't that difficult. It just is going to take some time. The challenging part for me was keeping all the parts away from all the animals because I couldn't get it together right away because I needed more parts. And so that's one of the issues. So AppliancePartsPros.com, and I'll put a link to their website. They at least have some really decent videos on how to do some of these more common repairs, and that makes it very doable. So we're back up and running. I'm going to have some lunch and get out and start working in the shop. So if you like this sort of thing or found this video informative, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. Be sure to leave a comment or ask questions. I hope this video acts as a stimulus for those people who are on the edge thinking about trying to repair some of their own appliances. Some of these online YouTube videos are really fantastic for sharing how to do these things. Mine's just a time-lapse video, not discussing everything in detail. But lots of things are possible if we take the time and explore opportunities for repairing our equipment. Well, Timmy's back and he wants some attention. So you folks have a super fantastic day and stay warm. I'm going to clean some more clothes and do some shop work. Bye-bye now.